All right. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Welcome to Naoto's Nerdy Power Hour. We're in the same office for once. It's a special edition.
It's very weird too. It's like a radio studio with the.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of setup we've got now.
Yeah.
It's like we're almost professional.
Yeah. my background is better than his right now.
Yeah. No, I took the bad side of the room. I figured you deserved the good side.
Here you go.
Well, we figured you guys were probably you probably had enough garage sale stuff for a week. We've had lots of streams, and thank you so much to everyone that tuned in and hung out with us during the garage sale. It's been really a fun week, a bit of a marathon week for us. I know next week Kevin and Chris are going to take a week off, and Naoto's going to take the week off as well. But it's been a lot of fun. But we figured we'd bring you something a bit different on Friday because, like I said, you probably had enough garage sale. We're going to be nerds again, talk about steel, give you guys real answers to the nerdy questions, and hopefully you have a good time.
Yeah, as always, ask any questions. Just leave the comment. We'll try to keep the eyes out for the any comments and questions that comes in. Today's topic. Well, before we actually start, let's say this: like and subscribe if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. There's a little bell button that you can click on so that you don't miss any of these live events, live shows. So as well as the lots of the uploaded videos and stuff like that. We have a lot of schedule coming up actually next week and a week following with that, and so yeah.
Yeah, we had one. We didn't do one this week because we had so many live streams going up, but I think next week we've got a new knife mic skills video, how to use a Santoku, which should be a lot of fun. And actually next week we've got some great streams coming up because the guys wanted a week off. We decided we'll change it up a little bit. So we're doing on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm actually going to be interviewing Mike about what it's like to make YouTube videos, sort of his background as a chef and how that informs the videos that he makes. But also a little bit, probably tease him about his loss in the sharpening competition. And he's going to do some show and tell from his knife wall because we've had a lot of requests for that. So should be a good episode, kind of an alternate episode. Sharpening night in Canada next week will be as usual. Just standard knife sharpening. The guys, I think they're kind of focusing more on Western seals next week. And then on Friday, Naoto's off, so I'm going to be doing straight razor honing. I'm going to sharpen up a straight razor or two, probably just at home with you guys, and we'll have the nice hand camera again so you can really see what I'm doing. And then maybe even do a shave afterwards if we have time. Yeah. So not sure who the guest is going to be for that one yet, but let us know who you want to see in the comments. And hopefully you can tune in. Again, pop your question in the comments as always. If you guys got your garage sale stuff already, my adult mustache is getting serious. Thank you, Sergio. I've had this mustache for a lot of years, but I recently shaved off the beard that went with it. So it's been fun getting back to the Ned Flanders look. But yeah, if you got your garage sale stuff already, or as always, if you have some sharpening or knives that you want to show off, feel free to send viewer submissions to nathan@knifewear.com. And we'd be happy to show them off later in the show. Yeah.
Today, the topic of the day. Well, we've had this a few times. I did my favorite blacksmith. I've done the favorite sharpeners. And today, I'd like to talk about the steels a little bit. Favorite steels from my perspective. From my perspective as a I sharpen a lot of knives as well as I use knives for cooking. I do cook every day at home. So I have this very unique, well, not so unique probably for the viewers today or, this nerd hour, but in comparison to, say, for example, knife makers back in Japan, most of those guys, they don't really cook I've spoken to variety of the blacksmith and sharpeners, and most blacksmith sharpeners craftsmen they don't use their knives on daily basis.
Really? So they just don't cook. Do they eat out, or their wives maybe make their food?
Yeah, their wives. Huh. So it's not unusual. Even some professionals, for example, sharpeners, they don't usually cook like on daily basis, and that's what kind of our focus is, right? Like everyday people who uses the knives every day, not so much on professional levels, right? Because I'm not a professional, but I enjoy cooking every day, and I'm privileged enough to and lucky enough to choose knives when I'm cooking.
Based on the mood or what you're cooking.
Exactly,
Like
right?
I tend to use my Magna-Curie if I'm doing like a stir fry or something, or I'll use my long Uto if I don't know, just want to I feel like I'm using a big knife. Yeah, we're pretty. I guess I never thought of that. We're lucky to be able to try out so many knives. Well, and that's always been kind of our strength at Knifewear is a lot of us, even if we're not professionals, we're still avid cooks. Like pretty much everybody that works at Knifewear loves to cook, loves to eat. But it's interesting to know that the blacksmiths they don't necessarily have that perspective usually.
They know, but
Sure,
it's not like daily basis, right? And I think it changes if you use the knife in daily basis and see how, for example, how it patinas it, or cutting into something this versus this. All kind of stuff changes. So so I came up with the list of steels. I had about 30 steels listed on my spreadsheet, and I kind of scored them by.
We'd be here for another 8-hour stream if we went through all 30 steels.
No. I scored them, and also there's like some factors, like there are a lot of factors. So don't just get. Don't get it straight. Like for example, the white carbon steel forged by this guy and sharpened by this guy may cut slightly different from the this manufacturer. I am generalizing it right now. Like this topic today, I'm generalizing it, everything, but the don't. Yeah, so it's really hard. That's what I'm trying to say. It's hard to just judge by the steel. You can't really judge by
because most steel, almost all steel changes when you forge it. So it depends on who's forging it or how it gets forged. Whether it's been hand forged or machine forged. But then there's just like individual blacksmiths, right? The way they heat treat it and the way they handle the steel.
Handle steel, heat treatment. Everything and changes, right? So I did come up with the 10 of my favorite steels that we can talk about.
And maybe we'll talk a bit about who uses them and kind of why you like them. Right?
Yeah, like the reasoning and everything. Criteria I came up with was the I had this one out here. Very easy, like it's basically hardness. For really the that is pure edge retention. Another one is grindability. From my perspective of resharpening and sharpening a lot of knives, grindability is very important. Grindability basically means how easy is it to sharpen. It's beside the hardness, it's different. So I have that categorized, and also the stain resistant. I did have 3 categories, right? Like I have the columns, hardness, grindability, and stain resistant.
Yep.
From my perspective, I took the stain resistant out because me as a everyday user who don't really I don't have to worry too much about rusting issues. I do take care of my tools, but it changes. There's like really interesting thing that I have find when the stain resistance gets in. Whole kind of a ranking changes quite drastically.
Right. Whether you consider the rustability of it or not, that totally changes up the.
Changes.
Yeah, and that it might be good to kind of go through the top ones a little bit for both categories, because for some people, stain resistance is super important. Say professional cooks or a lot of the casual cooks I know pretty much all. I mean, my in-laws my mother-in-law has some carbon steel knives and loves them, but most of the people in my family wouldn't use carbon steel. They use stainless steel. Most of my aunts and uncles and grandma, and so it really did. I didn't realize that, but that would really skew the rankings.
Yeah, And grindability. Grindability and another thing called the wear resistance is slightly different. Grindability is how easy is it to be ground by the abrasive that you're using. Wear resistance is that how fast it wears it down. So it's slightly different, but it could be translated reversely as well. So when the grindability is super low, that could mean it's not that means, but it could mean that the wear resistance is very high, so that it keeps the edge longer.
Okay.
It's not always the case, but it could mean. So that changes the little ranking as well, right? So
Well, this is Naoto's top 10 knife steels,
yeah,
so
exactly.
we're going to base it on what you like in a steel, right? And what really matters most to you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So top 10 kitchen knife steel that I have experience with that I sharpen, because I can't judge a lot of steels that out there that could be very high performance. It may be, and there's some steels that may outperforms my best steels and everything.
Sure. Yeah, we're going to focus on Japanese knife steels, that kitchen knife steel specifically that we see semi-regularly.
It's not fair if I say that this pocket knife steel, because it's not fair to say, because I'm not in a position of judging it, because if I haven't used it, if I haven't sharpened it,
Well, there's some qualifiers. Not only is it Naoto's top 10 steels, but it's also top 10 Japanese kitchen knife steels, because there's probably steels that are better suited for pocket knives or axes or whatever. But we're going to focus on kitchen-centric stuff today. Focus on stuff we have a lot of experience with, so that we can evaluate it fairly. There's a ton of great questions in the comments. Anything that doesn't pertain to kind of the immediate discussion, I'll probably save for later, just so we don't get too off topic, because I'm very good at that. But we'll definitely, if you've asked a question, we'll get to it. Don't sweat it. If by the end of the show I haven't got to it, then definitely ask it again. But don't sweat too much. Craig's, real quick, we got a few comments. Craig's Kitchen Rocks is looking forward to the long weekend. It is a long weekend here in Canada. So if you order anything on the weekend, it won't ship out till Tuesday. We're closed on Monday. Some of us are taking the day off. The shops, unfortunately, not so lucky. Fighting Usyk is wondering what you did with all of Lordy's stuff. It looks similar, but it's actually a different room.
Yeah.
We're in Calgary, but who knows? Usyk is also said there's a rumor that Chris Armitage will be hosting a session. I don't think we'd let that happen. I don't know. We'll see. And DJ Sergioto is just glad to see we survived the garage sale. Well, Sergioto, thank you very much. It has been a busy week. We're definitely tired. We're looking forward to the long weekend. We kind of planned the sale so that it ends on a long weekend, which is a nice break for us. But everybody's support and tuning in, watching these videos has really helped. It's been hugely inspiring. I know we got the Discord off the ground this week as well. Still getting it organized. Just haven't had the time this week. But if you haven't joined already, check out the Discord. It's basically like a chat room for knives and sharpening. And the link is just in the description at the very bottom. So if you haven't joined, go check it out. We'd love to see you there. And then lastly, before we get started, Usyk said, Nathan, I've told you before that my wife had been eyeing the petties, but I didn't think she'd get one. Well, last night she pulled the trigger on a Murata 80mm petty. Glad to hear that. Miss Usyk, Mrs. Usyk, I hope you enjoy your new knife. Happy new knife day when it shows up. That's a sweet knife. Like, that's not just a boring old, something basic. That's a really nice knife to get going with. Okay.
So, let's start the so how I did is that the my hardness for edge retention, grindability, and I basically scored 1 to 10, right? Right. And I have so most of these are scored anywhere from 11 to the highest one is 17 for my perspective. Runner-ups so the lowest for the pen that we have is 14 points, which is 70% of the 7 points. points kind of stuff.
Mhm.
The lowest one is like 13.5, actually. So
And that's out of how many? Sorry.
so out of 25 I
Right.
have. So 25 steels, I kind of listed up, evaluated it, and yeah. So top 10, I guess I measured 13.5. Hardness is 6.5 out of 10, and the grindability is 7. So it's fairly easy to sharpen. By the way, the hardest one I chose was the both ZDP and half 40. So in comparison, it's not as quite hard, right? 6.7, 6.5. Grindability is pretty easy. It's fairly easy to sharpen. This steel is called the AS10. AUS10. AS10 is the steel that is made by a steel company in Aichi Daido Steel. They make quite a few knife steels like AS8, AS6, or very recent steel, kind of recent. The more and more knife makers started to use this steel called ZA18. Those 4 are made by the same company. Out of that, I like AS10. It's got the really nice balance between the hardness for the edge retention, as well as the not so like hard to be ground down. We got the one knife here. It's called Haruyuki Kuri, the AS10 series. Nathan, you can probably put the.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, I'm sleeping on the job. I'm reading the comments. The Haruyuki Curry, you said?
It's in a red box. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay.
There.
Let's get our knife cam going, or beer cam, as it were.
So the AS10, I like AS8 as well for the really nice balancing between the hardness. It's not as quite hard, but it's equivalent for those who knows a little bit of steel. It's 440C or molybdenum vanadium, some people call it. AS10 is a little bit of the bit harder version of that, so it gives a little bit better retention, but it's very similar in the grindability. So it sharpens very well with the extra added hardness. So it's it's great. They make this curry particular is the really nice thin steel.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And is that do some steels have an easier time staying that thin and not having problems? Like, does it have to do with the hardness or the grindability that you can get it that thin?
Well, you could still make it thin, but the can start to become flexible, right? So
right.
It's the both kind of, you need the rigidness.
Yeah, right, because you don't want to sacrifice the sturdiness or the rigidity of the knife. That makes sense.
So that one is really, so that's like my 10. Yeah.
This is number 10 for you.
Number 10. It's great steel. It's yeah. It takes such good edge.
And that was AUS
10.
AUS 10. Number 10.
So that was 13.5. Okay.
Cool.
So I have actually multiple steels with 14 points, quite a bit actually. So let's start from something. 14 points.
14 points, okay.
So that was 13.5. 14 points I have. Let's start from something that called AEB-L. The AEB-L is actually could be one of my favorite steel. It's in a Knifewear knife.
Oh yeah, I have one of these guys.
It's one of my favorite actually steel. Like if you look at just the numbers, there are a lot that the number won't tell. This particular steel, AEB-L,
big boy.
It is a Swedish steel made by a company, Böhler Uddeholm. It's two companies came together, Böhler and Uddeholm. AEB-L it's great. If you actually look at the composition of the elements, it has actually relatively low carbon content of 0.65%. But if everything goes well, 0.6% of carbon will actually infuse into the steel to make it steel really hard now. So it's actually quite nice. AEB-L steel, stainless, it takes the edge really nicely. The hardness is actually a little bit less than AS10 that we had. So this is actually one of the softest in the cut category. But it's really easy to be ground. It's easy to sharpen. And also it keeps the really nice edge for a very long time as well. I have this Knifewear knife for 7 years, made with AEB-L steel.
Damn.
It's great. I'd probably only it's my go-to knife, but it's sharpened very few times, so it's great. And if you read for those, lots of I think knife nerds around. For those of you who
yeah,
reads the
I think a few folks watching like to read about steels.
Yeah, knife science. Despite the what the hardness tells you, this outperformed a lot of steels, like in the cutting test and the retention test. So I ranked this one in that the 8. It was 9, but it's got a lot of 9s, right? So it's like 14 points. This guy's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, it just seems to perform really well, and it's rugged too. Like I have the same knife. I have like the 210 Knifewear knife, and I love it.
Yeah, it works really, really well. I cut. It's a secret. Don't tell out loud. But I cut the kabocha pumpkin with this.
Woo! Really?
Acorn squash. Yeah.
Huh. That's impressive.
And I never chipped it. And there were few times that I was super sure that I heard the clunk sound.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and looked at my blade, and it's like
and nothing, huh? That's really cool.
Yeah. Good. Any questions that we need to?
I mean, certainly some people like that.
There are a lot of
that steel.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of discussion going here.
Yeah, there's lots of questions about the Discord and people figuring out how to get on that. Looks like a few folks bought a lot of knives at the garage sale. James Wang is knife poor now. No, I think we're good. We can carry on with the knife talk, the steel talk.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So let's do next. So it's the same score, but next one is just go with the hardness.
Oh, real quick, I'm going to interrupt.
Yep.
Okay, so thanks for your patience, everyone. I am not the best with tech, but I was able to create a Discord link that does not expire. Mm-hmm. So I am just going to pop on. I'll change the description, and in 30 seconds to a minute, the Discord link will not be invalid. So just wait like a minute, guys, and then hit that link, and you'll be good to go. Anyways, thanks for your patience. Carry on, Naoto.
Yeah. So the next one I would like to mention is the steel called SLD. SLD is also known as a SKD 11. Yes. This has about 13% of carbon inside. Some people call this a semi-stainless or semi-stainless steel. With the 13% carbon, though, it should be enough to make this steel full stainless steel. Although there are some carbides and everything kind of, some of the SLD knives can have a little bit of patina. Particularly SLD knives that's made with the forging. Basically what that means is it hand forged with the spring hammer will be fantastic because this SLD steel does certainly have this forging effect according to the Masashi-san. And Masashi-san makes 3 different lines out of this SLD. steel. One of which is the this Kimuri.
The one that I'm being very slow at getting. There we go.
Yes, SLD is very finding music. SLD is very similar to D2. There are slight differences. SLD is the name of the Hitachi special steel. It's very similar. There are subtle differences.
That's important to note, right? Is that certain factories make the same or similar steel, and they just give it different names, right? Like R2 and SG2, right? And this is SLD, you said?
I believe so. 1 second. I'm just and it's slightly different. The carbon content is different slightly. There are some similarities for sure, and that's like kind of equivalent, right? And it gets really nice and hard. But this is the what they call it the die-cast steel. Die-cast means they make the dies to cut the steel.
Yeah, it's cast in like a okay, cool.
So like I said, chromium SLD is 11% to 13%, or D2. I'm cheating right now, looking at like up to 12.5% or something, like slight differences, but it is equivalent, absolutely.
Yeah, folks, let me know if the Discord link is working now, because it should be.
The
hopefully
SLD steel, the Kimuri, this particular batch that we got, there's a little bit of secret. From Masashi.
What's
he
that?
didn't tell me any. He kind of slipped his lips.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what the difference is. That I think I'm. This particular batch that we got should have the better edge retention than the previous batches.
Oh.
He started actually doing this. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this.
A secret technique.
Secret heat treatment.
I think you can say the heat treatment's different, right?
Yeah, slightly different. He added the extra step to make the retention a little bit longer. For those of you who's watching right now, I am interviewing Masashi-san at this on this YouTube channel and Facebook on June 3rd. That's Thursday, June 3rd, at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I will try to get that answer out of him. But the
Sean says, so you're telling me I need to buy another Masashi Guto, right? Yeah.
Well, he always does like new things all the time. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's the danger and the excitement about having kind of a newer hotshot blacksmith be your favorite blacksmith is you're probably going to end up with more than one knife from them. But they're going to be awesome and they're all going to be different, right?
Yeah. But this SLD is great. The Masashi-san's SLD is slightly different because a lot of knife makers they use, like for example, the Tadasa Hojo Kobo SLD. That is it's rolled out and they by the thin sheet of steel comes out. Those cookie cutter ones to the hand force ones will perform quite a bit differently, as we could actually tell by how fast those Tadasa Hojo Kobos can actually patina, and the we were kind of surprised by that at first,
and
also how he polishes too. But my Kuroshu SLD does not have any patina at all whatsoever.
This is kind of a weird niche problem to have, but it can be challenging to me as kind of the marketing person who does a lot of the copywriting and stuff, because I expect I can just look and say, oh, it's this steel, it's going to perform this way. This is kind of how I can write about it. This is the level of rust we can expect. But certain steels like SLD have really tripped me up, because I'll say like, oh, hey, yeah, this steel patinas relatively easily, or it rusts, it can rust slowly, and then now it's like, it actually doesn't, because it blah blah, it's made by so and so. Blank is saying, I've heard the steel can be very tough to forge. I've heard that the chromium carbide have a tendency to grow quite large if not done correctly.
Yeah. That's why this hammer forging comes very important. So those carbides, And also, just tell you a little bit of secret. Masashi-san loves the carbides because it becomes the little bit of bikey edge. So that leads to the other. It's actually number next steel. Well, next steel actually. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool.
The
And real quick, James Wang just says,
Chromax.
by the way, don't forget to like the video, guys. It's 31 people watching and only 7 likes.
Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder, James.
Thank you.
You and Yusik and Damon have always got our back. Thank you so much.
The just to answer this question really quick here, the Jay Wen is asking, what about the Chromax? I'll talk about it. That is my I'm talking about those those steels. It will be covered. It's Chromax steel is also called VS1. So VS1 will be coming up. So
cool.
Yeah, just stay tuned, okay? Alrighty, so it's a little bit different. A lot of knife makers now use the SLD steel, but as far as I could tell, it's a secret. But a lot of people buys the shape, like already shaped knife. They just sharpen them.
Huh?
Masashi-san forges them. So that's
interesting.
Yeah, that's
good to know.
That's one of the reasons why Masashi-san started his own workshop as well.
Right.
The little bit of
because he felt that wasn't enough. Like he wanted to go a step further, and he's kind of like a purist in that
sense.
sense.
It's just a shortcut, right? And being a blacksmith, he wanted find a blank and sharpen them. It's not a blacksmith job; it's the sharpener's job, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's he's a very one of those very rare ones that forges and sharpens, like Hinora-san does and Mazaki-san does. So it's the Masashi-san, but a lot of people, they get just blanks, or sometimes they different people doing that, right? Anyways. Anyways, alrighty. So next steel, I guess I can probably talk about the next steel here.
Oh, and I guess this isn't really a question we have to answer on stream exactly. So this will be a quick one. D-Hop 310. I have an SRS 13 Sentoku. I love it. I'm having some trouble setting the bevel on it. Would you guys take a look if I send pics? And Yusik says Naoto has always been very responsive when I emailed. So yeah, just I'll pop his email up there. But D-Hop, just send over a few photos. Try to get as detailed as you can. And just shoot them over to Naoto@knifewear.com.
Yeah.
Okay, on to steel number 7.
7? Oh yeah, there's still all 9. There's same score for mine. So I have the this steel R2 or SG2. These two are the same steel, made by the Takefu Special Steel. Some people call it SPG2. It's great steel, high-speed powder steel, and especially it performs really well when it's sharpened very thin, right? When it's a little thick, the grindability could be the problem. It sometimes has more hard time setting the bevel on. As D-Hop 310 saying, SRS 13 is actually very similar steel to R2 or the SG2. So when it gets like a little thicker, it takes a little bit more time to actually be ground. So this particular knife there is the Yoshimi Kato-san's SG2 Damascus with a very fancy.
I don't even think the camera will focus on that. Let's see if I can get it. It's so thin. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's super thin. It keeps the edge very nice and long, and when it's that thin, it's a breeze to sharpen as well.
Yeah. I'm surprised we have any of these left from the garage sale. I think I don't know if John May picked one of these up, but he was asking about these a lot.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Yeah, it's fantastic knife and fantastic steel. No wonder many knife makers and companies are using it right now, right?
I had a customer who wanted to buy. I won't let out too many details in case this person hears this, but I had a family member of one of our good customers looking to buy this person a knife for their birthday, and as soon as they were like, yeah, I need a knife for this person, I was like, oh yeah, okay, we got some crazy custom stuff coming for the garage sale. This is what you need. So hopefully that individual loves that knife.
Yeah. But yeah, this R2 SG2 is a fantastic steel.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some love for it in the comments. John didn't get one. It's hit the price tag, which I totally understand. I don't own one of these yet either, but I feel like I need one. They're so cool. As much as I love the custom handles and the look of the Damascus, I'm not usually a Damascus person, but this black Damascus is so gorgeous. But the thing that makes me need one of these knives is just when I pick it up. It's as I love the looks, they're absolutely stunning, but it's the feel that really sells me on it. It's how stupidly thin it is. My God.
I know. It's one of the masterpieces of Kato-san, I think.
Yeah.
How he sharpens them. It's just crazy great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a lot of knives made out of the SG2 R2. That is one of definitely the thinnest. Like I measured using the caliper to measure the spine thickness. That's what's like 1.5 stupid millimeters. It's like that's thin.
That's insanely thin.
That's insanely thin. So yeah. Anyways, so that's the. There are a lot of steel knives that's made out of the R2 SG2. The next, so that's those SLB SG2 when it's properly heat treated, it can get very similar in hardness as well because SLB V2 has the 1.6% of carbon. SG2 has like SLB has like up to 1.34% of carbon, and it gets really hard. So like hardness level and the grindability level is very similar. Next one up is the Aogami #1. Well, let's do it. Aogami #1.
Cool. Let me find one. What Aogami #1? Which what knife do we have here?
Well, it's a Murata-san. Murata-san
I
is
grabbed one of those.
Aogami #1.
Yeah. That guy's Aogami #1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just really compared to Aogami #2, where more popular steel to use than the #1, basically outperforms in terms of the hardness of steel. Only difference is that how much carbon in the steel compared to Aogami #2. So more carbon means it gets hotter. But the grindability is very similar. I scored a grindability as 6. Actually, it's not as easy. They compare it to a say AUS-10 or AEB-L. AUS-10 I scored like 7 grindability. It's easy to sharpen. The Aogami is like 6 because it's got a little bit of chromium, makes it a little bit more hard to bite into it. I was just sharpening a Mizu Gyuto today, and some of the stones it just doesn't want to be ground as easy.
Blank. Which were you wondering about comparing to the Miyabi SG2? Is that the R2? Let us know.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's
not as popular. #1.
Yeah, we rarely see it.
It's some people find it probably too hard and becomes a little bit more brittle.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put this one here. Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah. No, that's a good question.
The Simarjit
Sani.
The yes, YXR7. I have not used it. I know who uses that YXR7 for Japanese kitchen knives. Manaka-san uses it. It's one of those high-tech steel that I think it's just a balance between the cost as well as the time that they have to spend and everything. It is, I've heard it's fantastic steel, but I think it's just really the all other things has to be considered, I guess. That makes the YXR steel is not as popular as it is right now.
Huh. Interesting.
So, okay, sorry. Yeah, white number 1. It's great steel. Personally, I have a few white number 2 carbon steels at home. It's great. It's the it rusts as fast as quickly as a white carbon steels because of the tiny bit of chromium content, and it's great for blacksmith as well. The little bit of chromium makes the heat treatment a bit easier for a lot of blacksmiths as well.
Yeah, this is the Hanyaki, right?
That's one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's a special one. I better blow up the
Yeah.
screen for this.
That is my last one, so don't show it.
Don't show it.
Don't show it yet. It's my top.
Oh, it's your top. Sorry, I thought that was the steel. I'm distracted. All right, we won't show it yet.
It's my top. So
I almost blew the good stuff at midway through.
It's my top.
Okay, so what steel are we on now, Naoto?
So now we can talk. So I am going to so next one, same score as Aogami number 1. It's Aogami Super. One of the reasons why those are the same level here is that I found Aogami Super is definitely hotter. It keeps the edge longer. It definitely does. But at the same time, the grindability drops a little bit. So ended up my thinking ended up Aogami number 1 and Aogami Super being the same level. As a user, though, it could be different because the Aogami Super will definitely gonna keep its edge longer because of the hardness difference and also the wear resistance difference. It will keep the edge longer. But for myself as sharpener, or the person who sharpens a lot of knives, Aogami Super is sometimes it doesn't want to be ground as fast or as the other steels.
It's a bit stubborn.
Yeah, and there's like slips and yeah.
That's really interesting. I really love Aogami Super. I mean, as a user, I definitely rank it highly. But that's because I don't have to really sharpen it all that much. I remember Fujiwara-san, when he was in Calgary, this was, it was probably like 5 years ago. This is like a year after Ken of Inglewood opened. And he came to visit and he spent a couple days with us, and it was super, super cool. And he was generous enough to sit down. We were all going to go out for dinner with him. We went for big dinner, but beforehand, he sat down with us for an hour or two and just answered staff questions. We can kind of ask him whatever he wants. He asked to see our tattoos, and then we asked him about blacksmithing. And so one of my questions was like, well, why do you like using this steel? I specifically wanted to know why he uses Aogami Super, because it's one of my favorites. And he said he liked that the molecular structure of it was a little more like bouncy, like shock absorbent. And so it actually made it a little more rugged than some of the slightly softer carbon steels.
Yeah. Yes.
And I've been telling that to people ever since, so I'm happy to hear Naoto agreeing with me.
Yeah, it's a little bit more toughness too. So it's great steel from my perspective. Today it's very interesting because I was sharpening some customers' knives today. I get to sharpen white number 1 carbon steel, or white number 2 carbon steel. I get to sharpen a Aogami Super. I was sharpening blue number 2. I was sharpening some of the little bit more softer SK5, or that's like very industrial carbon steel. So I was sharpening like 4 or 5 different kinds of knives on the same batch. So I was actually comparing those steels, and it needed about the same work. So I was basically comparing that.
Interesting.
Side by side. And I was like, yeah, this kind of confirms my rankings.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's good. It's always good to have that reassurance that what you're thinking is right. We had a good question, just one steel back, about Aogami from James Wang. Just saying, speaking of Aogami steel, I've heard the flow line banding is more visible is more visible than Shirogami, and wondering why that is.
It's probably more because what it is with the little bit more other elements goes into the vanadium with the chromium and other elements that forms a bit of bit more carbides and some like chromium carbides and stuff like that. That's what I think. Flow line is a little bit hard to make it really prominent. I've only done one or twice with the Samuchikumori stones, but that was me doing it with the white carbon steel. Also, those flow lines, if you look carefully, those flow lines are usually on the cladding.
Right, like the between the cladding steel and the. I'll grab another knife just so you guys can see.
They're usually on the softer steel, so it's really hard to have that flow line on that actual steel. Just so you know, because I don't think I've seen any. Because I've seen really beautiful flow line. Some honyakis definitely. Who's that? The Takada Hamono-san. Takada-san does a very good job. Sometimes brings that really nice flow line to it, and often that is on cladding. Some of his honyaki knives does have the flow line on them, but
cool.
Mostly it's on the outer layer.
Right on. I just want to say real quick, if you're watching this video and you're watching it on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It I know you hear that a lot on YouTube, but it really helps us. It helps the algorithm when you like it, and if you subscribe, then you won't miss videos like this, because we've always got nerdy content coming out. We've got some great stuff next week, an interview with Mike, who does some of our videos on YouTube. We've got what else do we have going on next week? We've got straight razor sharpening, which I'm going to be hosting, which will be fun. So yeah, we'd love to see you there. Okay, what is steel number? Are we on to number 4 already?
Okay.
We're just blowing through these.
Next one is the it's opposite. It's very interesting that this sits at the same kind of aligned with the I guess like my fetish with Shirogami. Shirogami number 3 actually sits in the same level as those guys. Reason: Shirogami number 3. Shirogami has 3 numbers: 3, 2, 1. Also, they have a Shirogami saw steel. So they have, and if you actually look very closely, there's a Shirogami number 1A, Shirogami number 1-2B.
Oh, really? So it gets really granular.
Yeah.
Do they do that with Aogami or any of the other steels?
Aogami number 1 probably won't have them, or 2. I know Shirogami number 1 has B and A. But because Shirogami is really popular steel, it's a little bit my I guess fetish about Shirogami. Shirogami number 3 definitely not as hard as the Aogami or the Aogami Super, because say if you look at like my chart here, Aogami Super, the hardness is like a 9. And next to the ZDP is like 10. Yeah, right. Where Shirogami number 3, I have it as a 6.
Wow.
But what makes this one like comes up on this level is that the grindability. It just grinds really easy. It sharpens super easy, right?
Really enjoyable to work with.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sergio, just real quick, says, I hope you're not going to forget my questions. We won't. I've got them bookmarked. We want to stay relatively on topic. So I'm very good at getting off topic. I'm trying to be better at that. Yeah. So, all right. So what steel are we working with here?
So what right now? It's Shirogami number 3. It's the Sakai Takayuki. What do you call it? The Sakai Takayuki single bevel line that we have right there in the brown. Yeah. It's relatively easy.
Nailed it.
This Shirogami number 3, believe it or not, it was the most popular steel in Sakai 30, 40 years ago. It was that steel.
Really?
It was that steel back then. Until it started to become a little bit more fancy, tried to have the, number 1, number 2, number 2, number 1, that kind of stuff. This steel was that steel in Sakai to forge the knives with.
Huh.
So actually, if you look at the some Honyaki knives, if it's like made by the Shirogami number 3 back in like 40 years ago, that should be a masterpiece because it's got really nice. They are so accustomed to making the knives out of the white number 3.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's very interesting, but that's one of the reasons why it comes in quite a bit high. It's tougher, yes. It's tougher. It's easy to sharpen.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Blank was just asking that. Why? Because it's tougher.
I just looked at it. So.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. I sometimes forget we can both see the comments. Cool. Yeah, I was curious.
So it was relatively easier to forge as well for the blacksmith. So it was really the popular steel. That's what Masashi Fujiwara-san who taught me a lot of stuff about sharpening. Also, he worked for the Kia and those like really famed knife shops in Japan.
Oh, so, not Kia, the car company.
No,
different Kia.
No.
Okay.
Kia instead of Kia.
With a Y.
Y, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense. Huh.
So.
Very cool. I'm just loving getting to show these knives off on camera. I'm like mesmerized by the reflection. Right? It's really quite enjoyable.
Let's do some of the questions, I guess.
Yeah, why not? We can pop a few in here. So
yeah,
we can get some of Sergio's questions in here.
Yeah.
We'll take a little break before we get to the top 3. So DJ Sergio's asking. Oh, sorry, I just muted it. My bad. This question is for Naoto. Do you prefer a wah handle denka or a yo denka gyuto? I'm still hesitating between Western handle and octagon wah handles. And then there's a bit of a follow up to that. And he said also, because some people take issue with the yo handles, the kind of fit and finish with them because he spends a lot more time kind of on the blade. I have a yo handle denka and I have no issue with it. I love it, but it might eliminate the sort of fit and finish that some people see on the Western handles because it spends more attention to the blade. Which do you prefer between the two Fujiwaras?
I am like really sucker for his Western handle because of the finger notch makes sense with the Western handle.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Western handle makes total sense with the that handle because like wah handle, there is always already a little bit of gap there for the finger to sit as well. So for me, Western style handle just makes sense with that little finger notch. And when the Fujiwara-san was here 5-6 years ago, and we did specifically ask why he puts the finger notch, and he didn't he basically smiled and grabbed his knife and did. We should have grabbed.
We should have grabbed the Fujiwara. Yeah. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'll throw my mask on and I'll grab it.
Yeah, basically he did quietly just balanced them at like this, and that's why, and no one else does. So he was he basically balances his knife out at where the finger notch is, and I think it works a little bit better with his Western style handle, and it counterbalances a little bit better. So I am sucker for his Western handle. I know there could be a little bit of roughness issues maybe, but it's where you feel I don't have that issue. It's got a little bit, slight bit of roughness, but I don't have any issues with his knives.
All right, I grabbed a couple Fujiwara-san knives here. So here we go. Yeah, I don't as a general rule, I much prefer wah handles, but I do really like my my Western handle Fujiwara knife.
Yeah,
it's pretty rad. I also think the finger notch could make sense with a Japanese handle, so I don't know, but I guess I've never seen it. So oh yeah, there is a finger notch on this one. So I got a wah handle denka. This is one we got in for the garage sale. So these could be a challenge to get. So that's a 210. And then we didn't have a whole ton of Denkas in because they're Denkas, so we don't have many in the warehouse. But this is a 195 yo handle. So yeah, let's see how this. I mean, it does feel really nice.
Yeah.
With that, I think the finger notch works great with the wah handle too. If you're the kind of person that wants your knife to be balanced right where you pinch it, that is a thing. I know Owen in our Vancouver store, pretty much every video he does, he talks about finding the balance point in the knife. So if that's a thing you're into, I think you probably want the or the yo handle. I don't care about the balance point. If this knife had been there when Fujiwara-san was in Calgary, I bought my Denka because he was right in front of me 10 feet away engraving knives, and I felt like I'd be a bit of a dumbass if I didn't make it happen, didn't buy a knife and get it engraved. So I probably would have bought this if it was sitting right there right in front of me.
Did you have like whiskey engraved on your?
Yeah. So he put the kanji he used translates to fire sake. I spent we were there all day, so I spent like 4 hours trying to figure out what to get on my knife. My one friend, my buddy Kyle, got sexy engraved on his knife, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not really my style, so I couldn't figure out what to get, and then I was just like, well, I like drinking whiskey, so I'll put whiskey on it.
Yeah.
But that said, I do, as much as I love the one I'm holding right now, I do really like my Denka with the yo handle, and it's nice to kind of change things up and use a Western handle sometimes. And having that knife, it also seemed like the right choice. I know he's really big into the Western handle with the finger notch, so I felt like I'd be disrespecting Fujiwara-san if I got the Japanese handle. Hope that helps. Yeah, let's do one more question here from Sergio. Dave Inspector says, 8-hour sharpening ASMR video, please. Yeah, we'd have to. I think the longest we have done an ASMR video. We did one of Kevin grilling on his Conroe grill. The first 30 minutes of it is just smoke because he had the vents open too wide and he put some pork belly on it. So there's a lot of fire and smoke for the first half hour, but let's skip ahead a little bit. It's pretty good. It's got some very relaxing sizzling sounds. So if the weather's bad or maybe you don't own a Conroe yet and you want to enjoy the experience, that video is really good. We'll definitely do an ASMR. Mason's got a really high quality mic. We'll get his microphone one day. We'll do an ASMR sharpening.
I want to get the little bit more better setup for my sharpening station where I have a little bit better access to the water. And stuff. Because right now, often they usually sharpen at the sink. They have the bridge on.
Right.
Top, and I want to have the actually water source right on top of it.
Yeah.
But small office kitchen is not necessarily
no, it's pretty ugly looking.
The lighting is terrible too.
What?
When I check my knife, I like to have the fluorescent light,
right,
to see the reflections and everything.
Well, eventually we'll have. I think we should have a little studio for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I am waiting to hear from a mortgage broker, and if I get good news, I will have a kitchen with beautiful natural light all day long and nice wooden countertops. So, and I'm going to probably do all of our food and knife photos in my own kitchen. So fingers crossed for me. We might have a little kitchen studio we can start using soon. It's kind of similar setup to Mike's a little bit, where it's got really nice natural light. It'll have a nice table in the center. So we'll hopefully be able to use that. Okay, DJ Sergioto's got another question here. Hesitating between a Moritaka Aogami number 2 versus Moritaka Aogami Super Petty, which would you say is better?
The definitely AS is something that they're proud of. They like actually to work with AS Aogami Super. We do have, if you look at Ishime and AS, it's two different type of things. Ishime knives are a lot more rigid than they are Kurochi knives. Ishime is our exclusive finish that they usually use it for their hunting knives, right? It's like this type of hammered Tsuchime finish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ishime, by actually hammering extra to make the pattern on them, you're actually at the same time making that the knife a lot more rigid. So it's great for, you know, it's great for Honosuke.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Because it's like, you know, aluminum foil. Like if you are squish foil into it, the small ball,
Yeah.
it's harder than a sheet.
Right.
So it's just like squish them, right, by hammering it. So slightly different, and that's what, you know, Moritaka-san told us as well. Like, you know, like, they thought the ishime on kitchen knives are not, you know, great, but they're like it's actually pretty good. It makes the knife keep the straightness for the longer period.
Oh, interesting. That little bit of cold hammering at the end of the process. Yeah, because if you didn't know, the Moritaka Ishime that's still exclusive to us, right?
Yeah.
When Kevin first went to Japan, kind of, you know, back when he was Knifewear was still an early thing, he said, you know, he looked at this hunting knife that had this Ishime pattern, and he said, well, can you put this on a kitchen knife? And I imagine they probably looked at him strange. I wasn't there, but I imagine he got some funny looks for that. But they were nice enough to do it for us. And so, yeah, that little bit of extra hammering at the end makes a difference, eh?
Yeah. So but for like pure edge retention, AES definitely will have some pure, better edge retention. I do have some AES Tsuchime coming in next garage sale in November, so you can, you know, take a look at that.
Cool. Yeah. We do like them. We just personally we prefer. Well, some of us prefer. I know Kevin prefers the regular. I guess Aogami #2 line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do, like, they really want to. Yeah. They are really proud of what they've done with the AES, because there are, as far as I know, there are only few people who forge welds AES steel to the softer steel on the outside, like this Warikomi style.
Yeah.
And they've done lots of errors, like trial errors, and
Right.
it took them quite a while to get them to the where they are right now. So
and the Warikomi style is where they kind of take the
it's like
soft cladding steel. Yeah, they split it like a hot dog bun, put in the hard steel. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
David Spector said, I'm sure they were already looking at Kevin funny before he made that request. Probably. You should see Kevin when he goes anywhere, but especially, you know, in a foreign country, he's entertaining. Ash Merch says, I really love the Moritaka's Aogami Super. They just seem to really nail their Aogami Super. Yeah, it's all that trial and error, hey? Like all the time, the dedication, the craftsmanship. And then John May, who I know has one of these knives from last garage sale, I said, but then there is the best of both worlds, the Ishime AS.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those yet. If there's any left after garage sale Monday in November, if we do get them, I'm going to need to get one. Yeah. Probably the Honosuke if they don't sell out right away, because I need a Moritaka Honosuke, but I prefer the AS. Or I prefer the Aogami #2 normally, but I prefer the Ishime finish.
There are a lot of comments about the Ash Merch is talking about the Skinari.
Yeah, he treats their HAP 40 to 68 HRC.
Oh, yeah. It's hard. The HAP 40, don't get me wrong, it's great steel. I don't have that on my top 10 because my perspective, it's pain to sharpen. Especially when it gets like, you know, to thin out and I have to grind quite a bit. HAP 40 is quite hard. Yeah. So was the ZAP 189. So they were not made to my list top 10, unfortunately. Because if you talk to Kevin, his list of top steels is very different from Naoto's. All the really obnoxiously hard steels are at the top for good reason, but it's because he doesn't have to sharpen them. Again, you know, the user perspective, as I kind of mentioned earlier, here's a little bit of things. As a user perspective, as the user and a guy who sharpened a lot of knives, it is different. I have lots of, it's a half and half. As a user who uses and it takes super fine edge, it's half. And latter half is the how easy for me to sharpen, right? So those two pillars have to balance out each other. Yeah. That's why Aogami Super sits very similar to Shirogami 3. Right. So it shouldn't, but for the people using it, and for like people using it at home who have never used a Japanese knife before, Shirogami number 3 may not be as like super good.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Rasts and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different perspectives, and today is it's my top 10.
Yeah.
So
we should do Kevin's top 10 sometimes because it'll be interesting. It'll be a very different list.
Yeah.
Fighting Yusuk feels very vindicated by you. And Blank says that all that grinding work, that's the fun part, Naoto. Or maybe I'm just a sadist. I think the term you're looking for, Blank, is masochist because you enjoy the hard work. Or maybe you just enjoy making other people do it. I don't know. Then you are a sadist. ZDP, Fighting Yusuk says ZDP 189 was sent to us by Satan.
Yeah.
Well, then hail Satan because I love my ZDP.
It's great. It's great to use. If I were to just like there is a ZDP 189 Honyaki Yanagiba I've seen on the thing before. And I'm like, I want to use them, but I don't want to purchase them. I don't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some good comments talking about, before we get on to the top 3, there were some good comments talking about knife balance too. Because we were talking about the balance of the Fujiwara, right? If perfect balance is really important to you, get a yo handle for sure. But if you like more of a forward balance, get a wa handle. That's why I prefer wa handles. Like I like thick knives with a light handle. My Moritaka 240, all the weight's in the blade. Same with my Moritaka Megan Curie. But it's personal preference, right? So that's why John May was interested in the yo handle katos, 240 katos. Even with a bigger price tag, because if it feels better, that's what's important, right? It says picked up Mugen Tsujihiki in the store. Great knife, by the way. Just got a brisket with that last weekend. It's on our Instagram. Great knife. But can't imagine that working particularly well with a wa handle. Just depends on the knife. Depends on the person too. I do love my Mugen. I have a 210 Gyuto, but I have knives that have a heavier blade with a wa handle, and I love them because that's just kind of how I like my balance.
Yeah.
Just totally preference, right? Okay, cool. Well, let's move on. Do you want to do your top 3 now, Naoto?
Sure. The top 3. The number 3.
Drum roll, please. It probably sounds terrible on the microphone.
Yeah. For me, it's VS1. Yes, it's a VS1. It's a VS1 steel. VS1 is also known as yes.
Oh, okay.
VS1 is also known as SKD12. It's the same diecast steel series SKD. Chromium level is like 3% to 5%. It is semi stainless steel. It patinas it beautifully as you use them. One of the prominent knife that's made out of the VS1 is that the Masashi-san's Koi series, which we are out of stock of. I should have thought of the coming up with the VS1. I'm like, we don't have that knife. Hardness and the grindability. This is really well balanced knife in terms of in terms of the hardness and grindability. It grinds really easy, and hardness he hardens he hardens to quite a bit actually hard, like Rockwell 62 to 3 keeps the edge very, very nicely as well. Also, this steel has a really nice bitiness to it. So it grabs into the food very easy, and it keeps that those carbides will have become a nice toothy edge. It's just my opinion, nothing else. But it's great steel.
Oh, hey, look at that. Let me throw on my mask.
Hey guys,
we have a special guest. How's it going?
You're a little bit in there, yeah. I can see
you
your
see my
shoulder.
legs? Can you see my legs?
You can see your legs.
I can see your shoulder.
Here, there we go. Oh, some knives.
Here, show the knives and bring it home.
Oh, just what I
I
wanted.
just went shopping.
Are you? Good Lord, man. Oh, that's what that was for. Okay, yeah. Sorry, guys, we're having an intermission.
I just went shopping.
Oh, dear Lord, Kevin. You're going to make me real jealous. All right. I'm going to start with this one because this is the one I'm really glad you're buying because,
You know how I feel.
dude, I like pinky purpley things too. And so that's Kevin's new hunting knife. What are you going to hunt with this, Kevin?
I'm gonna hunt some sticks. I'm gonna whittle.
Some marshmallow sticks?
I'm gonna make some, what are they called? Feather sticks?
You've been talking to Tiffany. Sasquatch sighting. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Yusek.
Yeah, fighting Yusek Sasquatch sighting.
This is your guys' last chance to say hi to Kevin because he's going to be gone for a whole week.
2
weeks.
2 weeks. Oh.
I got 2 weeks off. I got fired.
Oh, shit. Well, I got to find something to talk about that second week. Let us know in the comments what you want to see on week 2 of Kevin's hiatus.
But this is not because this is my second batch from them. Because I took those 3 home before.
I didn't.
Hatsubakuro AS?
Oh, good choice, man.
I'm looking through here thinking there's stuff here that I might want.
Just don't take this one because I still have to talk about it.
Okay.
I'll take these ones.
Well, you can feel free to keep that one for me later too.
Yeah, sounds good. That is a nice one. I'm shocked we still have that one.
Fighting Yusek says, have a great time off, Kevin.
Thank you, Usik.
And Blank say, hey, Kevin.
Hey, Blank. Oh, I wish it was a vacation, Kyle. I'm just not doing any live videos.
It's just a vacation from us.
It's a vacation from these jerks.
We said too many mean things about him on the internet and he got sad. All right.
Don't lose those. Don't get them lost.
I'm going to shuffle them into my pile of knives here. What's this one? Oh, is this Nigara? Yeah. Nigara. I'll see you, Nigara. Oh, I love that.
That suits me, yeah.
I've
shingling.
I've already used it. I guess you can see it's
Oh,
dirty.
yeah, it is a little bit.
Yeah, I
cut
didn't
donuts
wait
with
till I
this?
got home with that one.
Did you cut open a donut with this?
No, I didn't. I used a really big knife for a donut. Is there donuts left?
No, I finished the half one that was here.
Of course you did, you jerk.
I wasn't here yesterday, so I had to get some donut. It was my breakfast. It was my second breakfast. I had a stroopwafel and then I had half a donut. See if I can...
It cuts the paper really good.
Yeah, I better watch my fingers here.
Yeah.
Well, it cut an orange really good as well.
Oh, they did?
Just in case anybody's curious.
Oh, that's what you're cutting. Oh.
I peeled an orange.
So thin.
Oh, dude, it did the orange wasn't there.
Oh, yeah. So John May,
The red one's gone. I really wanted the red one.
the one that's all red or just red and wood?
All red.
Is that this one?
Do you have it in here?
Yeah, I have one in here. Here, grab that. Take a peek at that.
Yeah.
Well, John May, if you
This
change
is
your
the
mind,
one.
oh, that's the one.
This is the one I wanted.
Okay, well, Kevin no longer owns this knife, so if you want this one,
This is the one I wanted.
Change it up.
okay. So John May said this is the exact knife he wanted. John May, this one's still available because Kevin's taking the red
I'm taking
one.
the red one. That's the one I wanted.
So just in case you change your mind over the weekend, only $840, but they're Canadian dollars, so they're like no big deal.
They're just little.
I think he's from
He's
Canada.
in
Oh.
Calgary.
I think he's
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
Calgary because he went to the shop.
Oh yeah, he is in Calgary, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kevin doesn't own this knife anymore. We'll have to fix our inventory, but
Yeah, I'm sure Ellie's on it.
probably.
Yeah.
Continue to wrestle with it. That sounds good, John.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'll put that. We gotta make sure I keep these tidier. Kevin will have my head. Oh, this is a Masashi box. Oh, is this what I think it is? Is that? Oh, oh no, Kevin. What have you done? What have you done?
Oh, that one.
You are gonna have to cook a brisket on your Traeger and slice it up with this guy.
I thought you were gonna get
Don't touch the edge. Actually, I thought I grabbed the one I wanted. I didn't. I'm gonna go back. I didn't actually
You wanted
look.
Sakimaru, didn't
You want Sakimaru? That's what I thought this was gonna
that's
be.
what I thought you were going to grab one.
I'm going. So that's not mine. I'll go get. I'll get the one I want.
You would think for a guy that owns a knife store, Kevin would be better at knife shopping.
Yeah.
Jesus. Damon, while Kevin is gone, you guys should get a life-size Kevin printout and do an axe throwing competition. That might be a little over the line, even for Kevin. Yeah, who knows?
He writes the checks.
Yeah,
Checks after all, right?
he's the reason I can buy a house. So We'll see. Okay, I'll put this one back in the pile because he doesn't want that one either. The Sakamaru Takobiki from Masashi, but not the Kuroshu Suji.
The Marshall is asking.
John May saying, "Good thing we opened the boxes and checked them out, right?"
Yeah.
It's kind of like royal taste testers. Kevin has to have his royal knife testers.
Yeah, Marshall was saying the who's forging these. You know which one, Marshall, we were talking about? Just let us know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. The timing thing is kind of hard. Right now, he's holding a knife that's forged by a Saji, Takeshi Saji-san.
Okay. And I think the one they were asking about was 2 knives ago, so that would have been the Kato SG2.
Oh, the Kato SG2, yeah.
Saji Ironwood's a nice choice. It is. Miss Usyk would have stabbed me to death about 3 knives ago. Totally fair. I think most people's spouses would have. That said, Kevin is a magician who managed to turn $8,000 in a bicycle into 5 knife stores. So I think traded him like the paperclip. Yeah, I think Kevin's wife is okay with him buying knives purely because he sells more knives than he buys. Or it's
just one more enough, right?
It's plausible deniability. I think nobody really knows how many knives Kevin has. Even Kevin doesn't know how many knives he has, and that's how he gets away with it.
Kawahagi, the skinning knife from Seki Kanetsune.
So this is the one we were showing off earlier, and I was going to ask. I was going to ask. Did we show this one to Justin?
Oh,
I don't think we have any of those Sakamaru left.
we do.
I put one away. I put one away. Like
I can't find them.
there we go.
But look what I found.
What's that? A new knife?
I'm taking that home.
Oh, you fucking. You're just flexing on us, Kevin.
Well, you know
Oh,
what? When was the last time we took 5 knives home?
That's Saji?
it's been weeks at least.
No, I took 2. Okay, I took 2 home that one day.
That was a 0.
This is a good choice.
I don't have a 0.
You don't have a 0?
I
What?
do. Well, I do now.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have 0?
I have
do
the
now.
I have the 2. I have the 210 of this knife, and I can say for sure this is a good choice.
Oh, I know that's a good choice.
John May. So for the stream while Kevin's away, you should break into his house and find out how many knives he has and show them off.
There's a page in the book with some of them on there.
Yeah, the first couple pages. He's sick. Kevin's garage will be the next Knifewear grand opening.
Does he think it didn't start in my garage?
Yeah,
It started in my basement when I didn't even have a garage.
and your backpack.
And my backpack when I didn't have a car. And my bike.
Oh, hey, John May just got a 0210 and agrees with the endorsement.
Yep.
Good choice. We're knife brothers now. Good work. That is such a good knife. 240 is nice too. That's the second best choice.
Oh, 240 is my default.
It is a hell of a good size. I do love a 240.
240.
This is fun. I get to watch my knives on TV.
We get to check them for you to make sure you bought the right ones.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I can't believe.
Can you imagine? You got all the way home and got the wrong knives?
I can't believe I grabbed the wrong one.
You'd have to contact our
I
complaints.
still can't
department.
find it back there. So.
I'm sure Nathan knows where it
Nathan,
is.
where'd you put it? Did you put it there?
Bottom shelves with Masashi.
Oh, I didn't look down there. It's too short. That's for short.
Too close to the ground.
I only looked at tall shelves.
You got to sing that Randy Newman song.
Oh, the
Hatsu Kokoro.
yeah.
Uh,
So the one that he was showing that was the.
Did you show my Hatsu Kokoro?
Yeah, AES
that
Tsuchime.
was the petty, right? I had a petty for that.
Yeah. Where's my
Made
petty?
in blacksmith in Sanjo.
Oh, that was yours,
Oh,
right?
yours.
Not this one. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll bring back knife cam. We should trademark knife cam before someone else does.
Made by a blacksmith in Sanjo.
Oh, they're so nice. And like,
it's-
you see that red? That's the wall behind Naoto. That's how reflective these things are. You can even see the cables of our setup. Like,
yeah,
come
it's
on.
really nice.
It's unreasonable how beautiful these are.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna find that. Kuroshu Sakamaru.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gone. Kuroshu Sakimaru's gone.
What?
Regular Sakimaru is there still.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The Kuroshu
Oh,
Sakimaru
sorry.
is gone.
oh. Well, then
We only had one.
damn y'all.
There may be more coming.
Well,
Daniel.
we know a guy.
Coming.
I know a guy.
Well,
Maybe
I didn't get. So I didn't get it. Oh, whoever bought it, you're a jerk. Sometimes I want stuff too, guys.
I remember picking that one.
Get your paws off that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan Garrow.
You're welcome. Reminds me of the Tsuchimi pattern. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at that.
the
camera's gone.
Quite the haul. I had it.
Look at that.
Woohoo! Just a small bundle, hey?
Thanks, guys. Oh, I want that.
Don't take
I
my
want
phone.
this too. I'm taking my Kent.
Oh yeah, you got some
stuff too.
shave soap and some Allen matches.
Some of the blacksmith doesn't.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace out.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you too. So Sean and also the Michael. Some of the blacksmith doesn't. Some of the blacksmith doesn't want to be named. So the Hatsukoro is hand forged blade by the blacksmith in Sanjo, but as Sean mentioned, yes, he actually used to work for Yoshikane. That's why it's got a little bit similar finish to it. So he used to work for and train under Yoshikane, but he doesn't just want to be named. It's like some of the Sakai blacksmith, right? They make them. Sometimes they like, please do not mention my name because I'm just too shy.
Yeah, they just don't want the recognition necessarily.
Yeah.
Which is totally reasonable, right?
Yeah. It's fantastic. He's very talented blacksmith for a we know who he is, but he's like, yeah, please. I don't want any attention.
That's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sean, like Hitohira, but Hitohira uses the blacksmith name. Sharpener's name, they go consistent. So I've been actually figuring out who those people are. Kanbei and yeah. So if you actually pay close attention, you can start to figure out who they are. Okay, anyways, that's like enough. That's enough.
Is this real quick? Is this Denka? This Denka 210 should be on the website, right?
The what handle?
Yeah, I don't see it on the website. Somebody was just asking about it. Huh, interesting. I don't think it is. I'll fix that real quick because that would be a good thing to have online. Somebody might want to buy it. Huh, interesting.
Let me fix that.
All right, sounds good. Well, anyways, sorry for the slowdown, guys. Fighting Yusuk says, after handling wall-handled knives, I've steered clear of yos, mainly due to balance concerns. Is that a mistake? I wouldn't say so. I own 3 yo handle knives because there's very specific reasons. I have a Masakage Zero because the handles are so beautiful, and they just, they don't make it in a wa handle. I have a Fujiwara Denka, same kind of reason. It was all that was available, but also it seemed like the right choice because it's Fujiwara-san. And then I have a Mugen Hap 40. And it was, at the time, it was the only Hap 40 knife we sold, and I really liked the look of it with the handle style. So I ended up going with that one, and it was, I think it was all great choices. You just need to get whatever handle's right for you, and if you have the certain reason for it, then I think that's a great reason. But I tend to prefer wa handles, so I don't think it's a mistake to focus on them.
Is that 210?
It's 210. I think, you want to take a look just to make sure I'm not smoking crack or anything. Oh, there we go. Oh,
The box?
yeah, it says Denka BHO Gyuto 210. Sorry, guys, we're fixing website issues while we're on stream.
We may have to, so that people can actually buy them.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Mike, if you're still watching, if it's the 210, if you're wondering about the Denka with the wall handle, let me know because we do have it. I don't think we've sold it.
I'm gonna make them available right now.
Okay, sounds good. While you're doing that, I'll go through the weekly announcements. So as you probably heard already, Kevin and Chris are taking a couple weeks off of live streaming. Next week for Japanese Knife 101, we have got our man Mike. He does a lot of our knife skills videos. He's our general manager. ex-chef. He's going to be talking about making YouTube videos for Knifewear, how his kind of chef experience comes into it, how he felt about losing the iron sharpener competition and having to drink sharpening water coffee, and probably show off some of his knife rack too, because if you've seen our videos, he's got like 4 or 5 magnets of knives back there. And so we'll do a little show and tell with him. So him and I will be on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. On Thursday, we've got Sharpening Night in Canada, our weekly show where we get to show you basic sharpening techniques. A lot less nerdy than Friday's show, just like the basics, how to sharpen a knife like a pro. We're going to do Western knives specifically next week. Lots of tips and tricks for sharpening Western steel. And then Friday, we've got straight razor honing and sharpening. So that's going to be taught by yours truly. Naoto's got the week off. So we are going to be going through kind of all the basic techniques you need to know to hone straight razors. We'll get a little bit nerdy with it, but because it is our first straight razor video, we'll probably start off fairly simple and just get a really nice edge on our straight razors. The following week, we don't have anything planned for Tuesday yet because I just found out Kevin's taking that week off too. So if there's something you want to see, let us know. I'm not necessarily going to break into Kevin's house, or if I do, I won't broadcast it. So give us some ideas in the comments or pop into the Discord and leave your ideas there. Yeah. Speaking of which, we have a Discord now. It's up. We still have to come up with our kind of rules and etiquette, but it's pretty simple. Don't be a dick. Be positive. Be nice. We've got people posting pictures of cats. Sometimes we even talk about knives and sharpening. Food as well. We've got a nice cooking discussion going. So at the very bottom of the description is a link to our Discord channel. It's basically like a chat room. You can hang out with other knife nerds there. And then on June 3rd at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, Naoto-san, right across from me, is going to be interviewing Masashi Yamamoto, the blacksmith and master sharpener. So he is going to be probably like hour and a half, 2-hour interview with him. I'll probably be there just to moderate. But really, the real goal is Naoto's going to have kind of his questions that he wants to ask Masashi-san, and then the viewers will be able to ask Masashi-san their questions too about knife making, about steel, about sharpening. He is just as much, if not more, of a nerd than us, and has a really intense amount of knowledge and is constantly pushing and experimenting. So it's going to be a pretty interesting show. I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah. So I'm so excited. I convinced him to actually use it on this kind of format as well. So we'll see, we can just like throw the comments in and, all kind of stuff that we weren't able to do. And, one of the reasons why we moved away on, especially this live stream setting from the Instagram, is that this is a lot more easier for us to see the comments and show the comments there and interact right with the people who's watching it. And you don't have to have an Instagram account. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this way it's really easy. Masashi-san will be able to see that some comments, and he can process that, and then I'll do the translation for him. But he's good enough to do that stuff. So it'll be very. I'm very excited about the doing stuff on upcoming 2 weeks. So stay tuned.
Yeah, totally.
It'll be fun. So.
Okay. Well, should we cap off? We'll do our Naoto's top 3 Japanese kitchen knife steels.
So it's 2. We only have 2 left, right?
Oh yeah, we did VS1.
So
that was number 3.
Yeah. So just so you know, everyone, again, there is different perspectives in my favorite 10 steels.
Totally.
When I add the stain-resistant column into it, there are steels like ZDP 189, ATS 34, or say, for example, the AS 10. AS 6 even comes in actually one of the top. So as the Ginsan that I know you guys have been talking about. I love Ginsan steel. I do have a Ginsan Yanagiba at home, but it didn't really make it to my top 10 as a. I found it slightly. It's just didn't make it by the hardness nor the grindability. It just didn't. It was just like runner-up kind of stuff. The point. It was like 13 points instead of 14 up. Anyways, number 2 is the Shirogami number 2. Good hardness.
We had some bets going in the comments as to what would be your top, and I think that was definitely one of the contenders with the viewers.
Number 2, carbon steel. Myself, it's got a really nice hardness to it. It's one of the favorite steel from a lot of knife makers. It challenges the skills of the knife makers for the heat treatment as well as the for the little bit of sharpening. It's easy to sharpen. It's from my perspective, just my perspective as a sharpener, this is probably top knife. Easy to sharpen, gets really nice kasumi, polishes very nicely, but it just flips when it comes to the hardness. But so this one I have hardness of 7 and the grindability is 8, so it's really nice, but it just so it's great. It still grinds it very easily and hard as well, but and also grindability could be could be because of the what cladding steel they use as well. This particular knife is
because that's going to affect how the whole knife grinds.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
The this particular knife here is the white number 2. Sakai Kikumori Tomoshibi, really well made knife by this company called Myojin Riki in Tosa, at Myojin Riki, the head blacksmith who actually forged this knife, used to work for us. Apparently, as I kind of mentioned earlier, there are some blacksmiths that doesn't want to be named, but we are allowed to actually say, yeah, this blacksmith used to work for us.
Yeah, I'm very excited about those.
He went back to Japan, became blacksmith apprentice under several different blacksmith and knife companies, and ended up being in this workshop. I'm so excited because he used to work for Hiroshi Kato-san, who is the father-in-law of the Yoshimi-san, and as you can see, he makes such great double bevel knives. This particular one is single bevel, but I am so eager to see his double bevel knives.
Yeah, me too. So this is the one that's forged by him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And sharpened by his partner.
It's a beautiful knife.
It is so well done.
Yeah.
And it's great price for that.
Oh, yeah, super nice. And it's so exciting to have somebody that worked at Knifewear in the early days.
Yeah.
Now be a knife maker in Japan.
We still have bass guitar for it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because he had a band in Calgary, right?
Yeah, Peach Legs.
That's awesome.
He was the first one. He actually wrote our first sharpening guide, right? Because when we started we had this handout.
I saw that when I started. Yeah.
And it was written by him, handwritten. And on the right hand or left hand corner, there is the peach, drawing the peach with the
leg on it. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was back when we did handwritten gift cards.
Yeah. So that was a while ago. That was when we started it. Yeah. But so that was my top number 2.
Number 2, okay, Shirogami number 2.
And
yeah, some people definitely had bets on that, but the real this is the real thing. It's who had number 1. Let us know in the comments if you guessed this steel.
Yeah, we have.
I'm curious how many people got it.
We have one at least. Was a music, wasn't it?
I think you said there are a couple people that guessed this one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So my best is, I guess, some of you already have guessed it. It's a white number 1 carbon steel. White carbon steel is
number 1.
White carbon number steel is this hard carbon steel with very little impurities, hard to forge. It takes really hard to forge, hard heat treat. What the chromium in the blue carbon steels does is that it makes the heat treatment much easier. Even if the steel is quenched, or if the steel is cooled by a little bit lower speed, it still gets hardened. White carbon steel doesn't have those. Some call it the impurities. It's one of the really pure steel. It gets much hotter than the source. 1.2 to 3% of the carbon. It gets really, really hard. Yet it's not that hard to sharpen, which is a good point. It doesn't. It just really grinds very responsively. It's responsive fast enough to actually be ground. So this is one of the. It's really good. It's got the it's really balanced at the hardness and the grindability. Kind of sits side by side, and this particular one here. The Honyaki by Sakai Kikomori, forged by the Satoshi Nakagawa-san with the Mount Fuji hamon on it. And this is something that we wanted to bring the Honyaki blades. There are a lot of Honyakis around, but we wanted to kind of bring a one of the best that we can offer. So it's got a Fujiyama, the Mount Fuji hamon, mirror polish, but the bevel is best at the aesthetic and performance as well as practicality. Bevel is actually not mirror polished, so that
yeah, I noticed that.
You use them, and as you use them, you need to sharpen them.
Yeah, exactly.
And by sharpening it, it's really hard to retain the mirror polish. So the bevel is like it's really nice hairline, no line finish there, but it's got a really beautiful handle with the quince, with the quince burl.
It's hard to even
Stabilized quince burl with the water buffalo horn. So we wanted to kind of bring that one of the best that we could do. So here's something that we could definitely compare. Yes, Iggy, it's definitely Shiroko. Yeah, it's easy to sharpen, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my, I guess, favorite steel. Not many people use that because it's very finicky steel to perfect, right? So
so you have to have some talent or some skill.
Yeah.
Some serious practice to be able to forge with this stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, that was my top 10. So again, as I mentioned, there are a lot of steels that I didn't mention. Like on my list, there are Aogami number 2, Ginsan, ZEP, Kaori X. I even have a Kaori X in here.
I've never even heard of that.
VG10, VG1, VG5, AS6, AS8, Z18, 19C27, the 16C 23. All sorts of stuffs are on my list, and that was just my top 10. For those who's mentioned the VG10, as a user with the stain resistant and the retention and sharpness, VG10 comes quite high for kind of our customer perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
From my stand view, it actually comes a little bit lower because it's the
purely because of how it is to work
hard
with.
To actually be ground.
Right.
It's hard to sharpen.
So it's a great steel. It's high performance, but it's kind of a pain for a knife sharpener.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
that's awesome.
That's the
Well, there we go. That's Naoto's top 10 Japanese kitchen knife steels.
Yeah. So finding music, my Ginsan just sits right below the top 10. It's got 13 points on my list here, and my the lowest was 13.5, so it's just right there. VG10 for my it's great steel for the hardness. Grindability for me is quite low, so I think I just sharpened way too many hard VG10, so it just
hot rodding too many Hadouken movies.
V-Toku, I think it's the V-Toku. Toku means special, and V-Toku is actually VS. the special one is the so this one I have them at the top top 3. Yeah,
Very cool. I think that was good, and I think that was Blank Blank says they feel like they have a unique perspective, but I think everybody does, right? Depending on your kind of like the wah versus yo handle thing. It depends on who you are, what your preferences are. You know, being a knife sharpener, a professional knife sharpener, is really going to skew your opinion. And I think Blank Blank's opinion is going to be different too. Maybe it's somebody that likes pocket knives a lot. Like Naoto, I know you like pocket knives, but you're not like a pocket knife person per se. But personal preferences too, right? You could sharpen just as many knives as another person, but they're still going to like it for different reasons, right? People enjoy different parts of the process. You know, I know James Wang, for example, loves the polishing part and spends a ton of time on that.
Sorry, Joe May was saying, like, based on this, I like the Maboroshi over Denka.
Yeah.
You know what? I had this question to a Fujiwara-san. He likes Denka, but I asked this, how I phrase it. I phrase it, so as a blacksmith, which one would you like to, forge? And he, as a blacksmith, will like, most blacksmiths will say, more challenge is something that they like, right? So what he said is that he actually likes to forge white carbon steel, which is Maboroshi, than Denka, because it's more challenging.
I remember him saying that, yeah.
And I and I totally agree a little bit, because it's you have to be in a certain temperature and puts in the water instead of the blue carbon steel can be hardened in the oil at the same rate as the water, but the white carbon steel has to be quenched in the water.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So many nuances to it that's crazy.
Yeah.
Blank Blank says they get a lot of surgical stainless. Like I think a lot of those like little Henkel's paring knives say surgical stainless stuff to sharpen, which has its own challenges.
Yeah.
Do you know much about that stuff?
Surgical steels are quite and very. Surgical steel is this. It could be a marketing term. It's
absolutely. It's like when they say ice hardened. It's like they're using those terms for people that don't know anything about knife making, right? Like when I was a young cook, I was like, oh, surgical steel, that's great. I have no idea what surgical steel is.
It used to be great when the surgical steels or surgical tools or things to use sharpen and use over and over. But if you actually look at what the surgeons use, they use the steels and they use them once.
Yeah, because they're a surgeon, because they're dealing with people's blood and gross stuff, like a barber, right?
Yeah.
They throw, if nowadays if you had like barber steel, it's like, well, that would just mean they throw it away after they shave one person, right?
Yeah. Mostly though, those ones are like high chromium, molybdenum, vanadium steel. Molybdenum, vanadium steel can be very vague. It's basically steel with steel, carbon, molybdenum, vanadium, and a little bit quite a bit of chromium in it. Often, if you look at the surgical or so-called the surgical steel, it's like a AUS 6.
Right.
Steel.
Okay.
It's good steel, but it doesn't hold the edge as long. So it sharpens it pretty okay, but it won't hold the edge as long. Yeah, the Fighting U6 like 420J, something like that, or 440A, which is a little bit softer version of 440C. 420J could be.
When he said there, surgical steel is highly stainless and super soft.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Which has got its applications, right?
Yeah. So so everyone has different perspective on this, and again, most knives that we knife makers use are good.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
But
but they all have their different reasons for it.
Yeah, my perspective of sharpening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if anybody has more questions to ask, please pop them in the comments. If I missed it, feel free to ask it again. I know we had one more from DJ Sergioto. Says, Another one for me. I saw something that piqued my interest. A knife from Makoto Kurosaki, coreless Gyuto with VG2 and VG10 mix. Could you tell me if this innovation is genius or meh?
This steel, VG10, you don't have to.
I gotta step up for a second.
Okay, sure. VG10, VG1, this coreless Damascus is the invention by the this knife company or the steel company, Takif Special Steel. Both are made by the special knife Takif Special Steel. A lot of knife makers use them actually, like a Makoto-san's one of the very few who is doing it by hand or the hand forged ones. There are a few ones that starts to see actually Sakai makes those as well. Idea is that the VG10 and VG2 stainless steel will wear a little bit different rate, so it will create the infinite serration. May be true, may not be true. It's cool knife though. We did have one for a last garage sale, 2 garage sales ago. It's great steel. It will keep. It's really nice and thin. I don't know how true it is to work that softer VG2 will wear faster than VG1. That creates that serration for the longer period of time. I'm not quite sure about that, but it's how Makoto-san sharpened. It was great. It's like really nice and thin, and gets tapered down very good. So that perspective is good knife, and I've sharpened it 1 or 2 times, and it's pretty okay. It's really hard to judge. The great thing about coreless Damascus, another good thing is that you can sharpen very asymmetrical. Sharpen one side big on right-handed bias or something, because it's just, you can consider it could be considered as the mono steel, right?
Right. Had some good comments about. I think it was Yusik that said, avoided white steel because of the reactivity. Reckon I should just get over it and give it a try. It's like if you have a cast iron pan, you'll be fine, right? Like it's a bit of work, but I rinse my cast iron with hot water. I dry it with a towel. Sometimes I season it. That's kind of how it is with carbon steel. If you live in the tropics and there's salt water everywhere in the air, maybe rethink it. I know Blank Blank said they've been using more stainless steel lately, but they live in Houston, Texas, right? It's super humid there. So Yusek, I know you're in the States. I don't know where you are. If you are in a super humid place, it might become a bit of a pain in the ass. But if you are the kind of person that, takes good care of your things and you have a bit of extra time, you should be fine, right? I find I use more stainless during the day. This sounds kind of weird and specific, but if I'm working, because I work from home most of the time, I use stainless steel because I want to make a sandwich or a salad and just fuck off and get back to work. But if I'm cooking in the evening, I usually bust out a carbon steel knife because I'm more focused on the task at hand and I'm not trying to rush back to anything, Yeah, here we go. Iggy says if you wipe it dry and keep it clean, it's not that big of a deal. Main issue is how you feel about a blade developing a patina over time. Yeah, and for whatever reason, some people aren't big on blades that change their look. They want them to look really, really clean and brand new all the time. Totally cool. But a knife is going to get scuffed and scraped anyways. So for me, I like the patina. It's, if you're a fan of like leather jackets and, leather boots, I just got myself a good pair of boots. You're going to like carbon steel.
Yeah. There's good discussion going with the, saying, is this one here? No, if you like the carbon core stainless or the stainless clad carbon core or the carbon, and I like the how it's like it's been discussed. There's a thread or a discussion going. It's very funny. Myself, my go-to knife was always stainless clad at home because home use. You cook them, and I just immediately wanted to eat.
Yeah, totally.
Ever since I got the old Sakai Sumi, I'm sucker for that particular line. But generally speaking, myself, I like carbon stainless clad for everyday use.
Yeah,
And
totally.
Some of the whatchamacallit, these job specific knives like Deba, Yanagiba, I have them just a carbon steel. So I guess I treat my all Sumi as like job specific. Surprisingly though, after I got really nice patina and having that's made out of the white number 2 carbon steel, it's not as reactive. Like I sometimes like leave them on the cutting board, doing some like stir frying, and comes back on the cutting board, do more work. I don't see any rust on them. So patina building is definitely the thing.
Well, and we live in a super dry place. So if you like, I think Yusuk said it's pretty dry there. Yeah, if you live in a dry climate, you're gonna be fine, right? But if you live somewhere coastal or super humid, carbon steel might become a pain in your ass. Depends on your life. It depends on how you cook. It depends on. I'm a very coming from a kitchen. I'm a very mise en place person. I don't start stir frying anything or searing anything until most or all of the prep is done. Like I'll either have it in containers if I'm really organized, or I'll just have it on my cutting board in little piles. But I'll do most of my cutting before I start cooking, and then my knife, I just give it a wipe. I put it away, and I tend to clean as I go. If that's your habit, just depends.
Yeah. So it's really
Yeah. Sean Buckles got an interesting perspective. Obviously, the professional perspective. I believe Sean works in a restaurant. During a dinner rush, I don't always have time to dry it off right away. Yeah. And that, to somebody who hasn't worked in a restaurant, may sound absurd, but when those tickets start coming in, like you don't have 5 seconds to rinse and dry your knife. It's like you are on the line yesterday. You are, you're pumping out whatever is ordered, right? And so, you definitely have to be on it and be careful if you work in a professional restaurant.
It's different. Like when you see the Jiro Dream of sushi, how he cuts and he wipes, and that's that special type of restaurant, right? Like his knives does not have any rust spot, and he will probably not, So his knives is spotless, but in reality, like 99% restaurants, it's not like that, right? So
yeah. Blank says, I don't know why everyone thinks my questions are real nowadays. I assume they're real. I try to take them seriously. Maybe you're just memeing on us. Who knows?
There's the good JT is saying, anyone owns Masashi and feels about the geometry, and I saw the Sean responding to it. It could. So here I have this very interesting papers. Here.
Oh! I know what this is.
This is Masashi-san's Kiritsuke geometry. His knives are just the profile. Geometry is great because it's got a really nice thin spine and tapers off really nicely. One thing that threw people off sometimes is that he's got lots of very flat spot right here. And I was comparing that to the some other knife makers, like this is the Sakai This is the Masakagi Gyuto.
Yeah.
I got some numbers close, and it's got a lot more nicer. Even taper goes up, and this is Sakai Gyuto. It's got a nice taper as well. So for those of you who doesn't really like the super flat spot, the reason why Masashi-san does it like this flat is that the flat is harder to make as a sharpening. So he just makes the flat first, and people can actually make it like this. I have this idea. It's quick. To make almost like chimera hybrid of these 3 shapes. And great thing about his blade is that how tall his heel is. 57 millimeter as a default, as compared to 53. So lots of other makers. So it gives you a lot more clearance.
Huh, interesting. I do like that extra height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is something that I may and the Masashi is a
Oh yeah.
interview.
I hope we can show that off then. I'm excited for this secret project that you found.
Like, we Knifewear and the Masashi has a little secret.
This is like in the X-Files when they have a top secret government program and they're like breeding humans with aliens. That's like what Naoto's working on with kitchen knives.
Like his
it's wild.
He's so like I have his crochet tooth and it's behind the edge is so thin. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of actual questions, Blank had a good one that I forgot about. Said, what do you think of the Shun dual core? Is that where they have the two steels kind of folded together?
It's the same thing as the VG2 and the VG10.
Like the coreless Damascus, so to speak. Okay.
Again, it's really hard to evaluate. It cuts really good, but I don't know really how well it works as a like the two different steels wears out different rate as well. Because I've tried this knife called the edge made with a VTech. It's the knife made by Hokiyama-san in Atosa, and I've actually tested it a few times on the food. It just that should be the super kind of technology that keep creating the serration as you use them. It's like flakes off, and there's always like some edge micro serration being created. And I've used it. It was like very toothy. It was super toothy. It will cut tomato very good, or foam book in the matter. But it wasn't that great feeling. Coreless Damascus, I've used a few. I haven't used it enough to evaluate the enough.
Yeah, because we don't sell any of those, do we?
We had the Makoto one before.
Right.
But basically, what they do is that they buy the pre-laminated steel from the Takefu Special Steel, roll it out or forge it into the shape and sharpen it.
Okay.
So the Shun Dual Core, Makoto coreless. I've seen a coreless from other knife makers like a Sakai. Some Sakai guys were actually sharpening it. I saw the other day, and I saw Nenohi had the coreless from someone in Seki, and they're fine. It's all about geometry, heat treatment.
Right. Yeah, because there's so much more than just the steel that makes a knife, right?
Yeah.
Okay, before I forget, Blank asked this question a while ago, but said, what knife steel do you hate the most? What really is like? Let's say from a sharpener's perspective for you, Naoto, what's a real big pain in the ass?
Maybe ZB.
Yeah.
But
purely from a sharpening.
You know what? The VG10, I will really like it, but because we have so many VG10 knives.
Yeah, right.
We have so many VG10 knives, and when they come back and need a lot of thinning, and I have this bad memory. Yeah. And
they just become traumatized after a while.
So
it's like when we used to sell a lot of Yoshikane knives.
Yeah.
Our staff hated getting them in for sharpening because they're really slow.
Oh, really?
I seem to remember that. This is a long time ago. Yeah. So our skills have massively improved since then. But there were certain knives that were always a pain to hot.
Some of the VG10s are fine. The Kiri, I did it the other day. It was fine. Some VG10, I don't know if it's heat treatment or if it's the steel that's used on the outside.
Right.
It's just like thinning perspective. It was so hard, and yeah.
Yeah. I found I don't have a steel that I hate from like a use perspective, but I do have like lines that I don't like, for sure, that are just a pain to. I mean, I won't drop any names because they're not knives we sell, but there are definitely knives that were like the knives that they issued most of the people I went to school with.
Yeah.
I went and bought my own knives for school, and I bought some Western knives. I bought some good quality Western knives because I didn't want them to get stolen. Yeah. But the knives that everybody got in school at SAIT were just like, I was sharpening. I was learning how to sharpen at the time, and I was sharpening knives. I would sharpen one knife for a pint of beer, I think. And the pints of beer were like $4 at the local the school pub, and I got a lot of free beer from sharpening those knives because they went dull about once a week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one of the really worst one was actually one of those cheap like the knives that you get it from. Oh, the worst one. I don't know what the steel was. The worst one was one of those like super cheapy, crappy free knives that were the co-op and
like free at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Knives sometimes comes in and it just wasn't getting any edge on it. It was terrible.
Yeah.
At least I think VG10 I got traumatized from this Shun solid VG10 single bevel that I tried to sharpen. It's like basically VG10 Honyaki.
Oh my God.
And I was just
that sounds
basically
expensive.
traumatized. And so that's why I know some may get offended by me saying the VG10 is really bad, but it's really great steel as a user base.
Yeah, don't take that out of context. It's great to use.
Yeah.
It's not great to sharpen.
Yeah.
Blank says mine is whatever is in those weird Damascus fixed blades. Yeah. Those kind of like mystery Damascus knives are not, because they're like soft, but they're weird. I like working at Ken of Inglewood in the shop for 5 years and sharpening a ton of straight razors. My least favorite were just like the cheap straight razors that people would be like, I bought a straight razor, and I always felt bad for them because they were super excited and they were very pumped to start using a straight razor. But, it was usually a gift from someone, and it was just, bought by someone that didn't know about straight razors. So they bought like the Sweeney Todd movie prop, or, just like a $40 straight razor that's made kind of from mystery steel. And you can get them really sharp, but they just don't stay sharp. And in some cases, it's almost impossible to get a great edge on them to begin with. And it's never the fault of the person that bought it. It's just the people that are making these cheap razors and passing them off as straight razors. It's a shame. But those are a real pain to sharpen. Yusik says those are Pakistani bumper steel. It's possible. Could be leftover car parts. We had some questions a little while ago about, because I popped my boots in a frame for a sec. John May said, what kind of boots? I'm a missionary for Alden. If you haven't heard the word of our footwear lord. I haven't heard the word. I think I've heard of Alden, but I've never tried them on. But let me know if you ever have brand recommendations. I'm a big fan of like high quality outerwear, not like synthetic stuff. I like leather and canvas and like really durable things. So no, I haven't heard those. I'll check them out. But I just got my second pair of boots, so it'll probably be like 10 years before I buy another pair of boots. My boots are Red Wings. I bought a pair of just basic Red Wings about 7 years ago when we first opened Ken of Inglewood, and they're still going strong. It's about time to get the soles changed. That's it. I've hiked in them. I've camped in them. I've taken them, worn them all throughout the city. I've worn them in the winter, in the summer, and they're still going strong. So I just said, screw it. I'll buy another pair of Red Wing boots. I don't love their workwear ones because they're just not super stylish, and that's something I care about. So I got the Iron Rangers. They've got a reinforced toe, not a steel toe, not necessary for my lifestyle, but really, really solid, beefy boots. And Iggy agrees, prefers Red Wing or Thorogood for boots. Again, I'm really bad at researching different brands. Once I find one I like, I just go with that. But yeah, Red Wings, awesome boots, love them. What else we got here? Any other questions? It's 6, so I feel like we'll take off fairly soon.
Yeah, we have a long weekend coming up, so
3 days off.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. I just found out we're conditionally approved for our mortgage, so we have lots of paperwork to do tomorrow. But thank you. Yeah.
Well, just do a little bit of last announcements, I guess. Garage sale week, we still online. Well, the shops are still open. The Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. Unfortunately, Ottawa, they just released that the reopening plan yesterday. They may be closed for another 2 or 3 weeks, but the garage sale is still happening online as well as in stores that are open until we're gonna do it till Monday, right? Probably.
The garage sale runs till 6 p.m. Monday because we run the spring one longer because of the long weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6 p.m. Monday in store,
Yep.
and midnight online, midnight Mountain Time. Yeah. So you got, if you want to grab anything else in the sale, you got about 3.5 more days.
Yeah.
There's some great deals in there. There's still some of these really cool custom handle Yoshimi Kato knives, and I think even some Kurosakis left. The giant Kurosaki Tsujihiki is all sold out. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone that tuned in. It's always good to see everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. I imagine everybody watching probably is already, but we always appreciate that. If you haven't checked out our Discord already, the link, there's a permanent link now. Figure that out. It's in the bottom of our description. There's some great conversation there. It's just about, knives, food, sharpening, cats, all sorts of good stuff. Yeah. It's a good time. Anything else, Naoto?
there's the one comment by the Bin Matsubara knife. We don't carry his knives, but we have actually very similar, and I suspect it's actually made by the Tanaka-san of the Matsubara knives, which is the Sakai Kikomori Aogami stainless series with the Nashiji. They didn't tell us who actually made it, but it looks like very similar. So take a look at that knife there, and you may be actually looking at that one knife that you may be interested in. Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks for everyone that tuned in. I think
Yeah.
this is one of my favorite episodes so far. Next week we're talking about razor sharpening. Naoto won't be here. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
He deserves time
I'm
off
gonna
too.
take that a couple of days off.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about straight razors, chemisories, do a little honing. I know Damon, if you're still watching, I think you picked up a chemisori. So if you want to learn some honing, I'll probably focus more on just basic straight razor honing. But then we can, if you guys enjoy it, we can get more in depth another time.
Yeah.
Maybe do a little bit of shave, a shave if we have time, and talk about kind of how to shave with a straight razor if anybody wants to see that.
Yeah.
And then again, let us know what you want to see the week afterwards. So next week, we've got a few different streams going on. The week following, we have our Masashi-san interview, but we don't have anything planned for Japanese Knife 101 that Tuesday. So if you guys want to see maybe a bit of cooking, maybe we'll do a knife skills / cooking, do some more fermentation, or I don't know, just cook something. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah, if you guys have ideas, let us know, and we'll see you in the Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.